friends, Miss Beth here. As you can see, I'm back at the church filming, and I've been missing you guys so much, and I thought, let's get back to the Bible lessons we've been doing. It seems like it's going to be a while before I get to see you again, so let's continue learning about God at the church. So we've been doing our unit on seeking our treasure. And we've learned through it that God is our treasure. He is the greatest treasure of all. And we have been learning about him and all these different things that we can find out about him, these truths we can find out about him in the Bible. We've had 10 weeks so far of this, and then we took our break, and I told you the story of Exodus. So I'm going to review the things that we've learned so much. So I've written them over on the whiteboard, so let's go take a look and see what we've learned about God so far. Okay, here's what we've read so far. Sorry, there's a little bit of glare on the board, makes it kind of hard to read, but that's okay. I'll walk you through. So far, we have learned that God creates. He is a creator. He created the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth, everything. He's a creative God. We learned that he knows us. He knows you. He knows me. He knows the good things, the bad things, everything in between. He knows us. He loves us. We learned that God is wise and he is good. It says that his wisdom is like beyond what we can comprehend, but he is good. And we have that promise that he is good. We learned that God keeps his promises. When he makes a promise, he keeps it no matter what. We learned that he is holy and perfect. He is so holy that we can't even be in his presence because of the sin that we have. He's so holy. We learned that he loves us and he forgives us. He loves us so much. He created us and he forgives us. He is so patient with us and wants to forgive us again and again and again. We learned about that with the Exodus and how many times God forgave Israel when they weren't following him and when they were doubting him. He forgives again and again. God provides. He provides our needs. He wants to take care of us. If you look in the story of Exodus, how he was providing food and water for them. God is with me and protects me. He protects us. That doesn't mean bad things don't happen. That doesn't mean we don't get sick or that things don't happen, but he protects us from a lot of things. God answers prayers. He hears us when we talk. Sometimes his answer is no, just like our parents. Sometimes they say no, and we want good things, but sometimes they have to say no to us. But God answers our prayers. He always hears them, and he always answers them. God is powerful. He is big. He is strong. He is amazing. He creates storms. He stops storms. He is awesome. So that's what we've learned so far. And let's hear about our story today. Wow, that's a lot. God is awesome. He is big. He is huge. He creates us. He knows us. He keeps his promises. He's perfect. All these great things. So let's learn today about one more thing about him. So I've got a story to tell. So it's from the Bible, from Luke 15. So if you want to go read it later, you can. It's in Luke 15. And Jesus is with a group of people, and there are some Pharisees, and the Pharisees were the religious leaders who thought they were so good and so fancy and so wonderful. And the Bible says there were sinners there too, which the Pharisees would have seen those as like tax collectors and liars and other people who were just regular people who, were struggling to follow God. And all of us struggle to follow God. So these Pharisees were kind of having their nose in the air and thinking, oh, we're so much better than everybody. So Jesus decides to take them down a notch and put them in their place. And he tells this story. He says, there was a man, and he had a huge estate, a huge farm. And he had 2 sons. And he planned, when the sons got older and it was his turn to pass his farm on to them for them to take over, he had planned to give it to his sons and split it between them. Well, his younger son was like, I want my money now. I don't want to wait till you're old. I want it now. So the father said, okay. And he divided up his property and he gave half to the son now. And the son took that money and he left. And he said he went to a faraway land and he squandered it. And squandered means just wasted it. He spent money here, he spent money there, here's some money, there's some money. He didn't use his money responsibly. And after a while he looked and his money was all gone. He had wasted all his money and he had none left. And now he was in trouble because he had no money. So he found a job feeding pigs. Not the most glamorous, fancy job. So he got a job feeding pigs. And a famine hit the land. So meaning there's not enough food. And he was starving. He's so hungry. And he's looking at the food that he's giving to the pigs. And he's thinking, these pigs are eating better than I do. And if even the servants at my dad's house, even his workers and his servants eat better than I do, maybe I should just go home and ask to be a servant at my father's house. I can't be a son anymore. I wasted all his money, but maybe I can just be his servant and he'll at least feed me and treat me well. So he picked up his pride because, he's lost his pride. He's spent all his money. He has nothing. And he goes home. And it says while he was still a long way off, he's heading home, he's heading down the road, and he's probably, oh man, this is going to be embarrassing, having to go to my dad and tell him I wasted all my money, and what's he going to say, and so he's, heading home. And it says while he was a long way off, his father saw him, which I think this is really cool, because that means his father was looking. His father was missing him and wondering, and he saw him. His father gets so excited, he goes running out there, and he runs out there, and he runs out there, and he gets to his son, and he hugs him, and he kisses him, and he's like, oh, my son, you're back. And the son's like, wait, Dad, wait. I wasted all my money. It's all gone, and I'm not worthy to be called your son. I've done you wrong, I've done me wrong, I'm not worthy to be called your son, but could I please have a job? I'll be one of your servants, and I'll work for you. Could you please just give me a job? He wasn't asking to be a son again. He was just asking for some food and a job so he could buy food and have a place to stay. But his father says, no, you're my son. You're back. And he brings him into the house, and he calls for a robe for him and sandals for his feet and rings for his fingers. And he says, kill the fatted calf. Now, back then, they used to they'd pick out the perfect calf, and they would feed it really well, and then when the time was just right, they would kill it, and that was their special meal. So he said, kill the fatted calf, kill that special cow that we've been saving for a special meal, because we're going to celebrate, because my son is home. He was so excited his son had come back. His son was back where he belonged. And while all this is happening, his brother, the older son, is out in the fields working. And he comes home, and he sees a party going on, and hey, what's going on? And your brother's back, it's so exciting. And how do you think the older brother would feel? Would he be excited that his brother is back? Or do you think he'd be a little upset? Well, he was angry. He was angry because his brother had taken all his money and had wasted it. And he had been here working really, really hard. And working hard to help his father and to help their farm. And so he refused to go in and join the party, and he refused to be excited that his brother was back. So that's our story. So let's talk about what we can learn about God from that. We can learn a couple things. The first thing is we can learn that God is merciful. And mercy is when we don't get what we deserve. And that means we don't get it in a good way. So let's say you do something wrong, and you're going to be in big trouble. And then your parents say, oh, it's okay. I forgive you. There won't be any consequences. That's mercy, not getting any consequences. Or say you break a friend's toy. You're playing with a friend and you accidentally break their toy. Well, they could be really mad at you. And they might even ask you to replace it, to buy them a new one. But instead they say, no, it's okay. I forgive you. Don't worry about it. I'm not mad. That's mercy. And God is merciful. The father had every right to be mad at his son. You spent all my money and it's all gone now and you were irresponsible. He had every right to be mad. But instead he said, no, you're my son. I love you. Come back and be my son. Don't be my servant. Be my son. He was merciful towards his son. The second lesson we can learn is about our own hearts. And that is, how did the other son, the older brother, react? He was mad. He was mad that his father was merciful. And now remember, Jesus was telling this story to a bunch of people, and there were some Pharisees who thought they were so much better than everybody, and then there were regular people. And he was saying to the Pharisees, you should be excited when a sinner finds Jesus and finds God. So that lesson to us is when we see someone come to Jesus, we should be excited. We should want to go in and party with them and not say, well, they were a mean person before, or they did bad things. We all did bad things. But we should be excited because they have found Jesus and they have found God's mercy, and they now get to grow and learn about Jesus and get to go to heaven one day. And that's an exciting thing, and we should want to party with people when that happens. So those are kind of our two lessons. God is merciful, and what should our heart be? What should our heart be like when we see somebody come to Jesus and accept Jesus? Okay, so those are our two lessons. Okay, now part of this unit is we, as treasure seekers, we have our treasure chest, and inside our treasure chest are clues to help us remember the lessons that we're learning about how awesome God is. So let's look in our treasure chest, and there's always some sort of little riddle, and we'll see what's in there and see if we can figure it out. So let's take a look. Okay, ooh, we have some gold coins in here. It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gold coins in here. And I see that they have some letters on them. Let's flip these other ones. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of letters here. Oh, I bet I know what we're supposed to do with these. Let's pull them out. So, let's see. We've got R and L and M and E and C and F and I and U. I bet we're supposed to unmix them and see what word we get. So I want you to take a minute and see what word you can come up with. And then I'll give you a hint. Do you see a word in there? Okay, our first hint starts with an M. Any ideas? How about E? M-E. Think about what our lesson was about. M-E-R. Do you have it yet? Let's see. M-E-R-C. I. F. U. Whoops, running out of room. L. Merciful. That was what we were learning about God today. That was our message today, that God is merciful. Let's go write it on the board with all of our other things that we have learned about God. Okay, God is merciful. Let's add that to our list, that God is merciful. God is merciful. He is a God of mercy. He is a God who doesn't give us what we deserve, because what we deserve is really bad things because of our sin. Okay, let's wrap up. Wow, God is merciful. Isn't he a good God? We are sinners, and the consequence for our sin is death, and is not getting to be with God, but he is merciful. And if we choose to accept his free gift of salvation, we get to have our sins forgiven, and we get to go and be in heaven with him someday. That is awesome. I love it. Okay, that's our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I miss you guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.